So Kevin Smith absolutely wrecked the He-Man franchise, causing this reboot to flop and to flop big time. You can see proof of this on every discount shelf in places like Walmart. You can find proof of this on pretty much any scoring site out there. Here's Rotten Tomatoes for a while, and remember, they doctored this score. Even Netflix is forced to concede that this thing, it isn't the success they want. It is a flop. There's so much evidence out there. You and I, we're going to talk about it today. Fun times, huh? Fun times indeed. So hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. So the thing that got me really focused on He-Man being an utter failure, a huge flop, is the fact that I had to go to not one, not two, but 3 Walmarts in a row. I feel like I'm the Count on Sesame Street, by the way. 1 failure for He-Man. 2 failures for He-Man. But when I went to every one of those, this is what I kept seeing on repeat. You had all of these He-Man retro play figures. They're all still available, but you would have almost everything else around these sold out. I mean, this, like I said, it was repeated over and over again. Now, I found this to be curious, but I didn't really follow up on it all that much until I got to the 3rd store, because the 3rd store is different. See, unlike the other 2 stores, this store had a different layout. The other 2 stores, you have to go out of your way to find clearance items. Basically, you have to hunt that section down. This, it's right out in the middle of the toy aisle. You can find the things that are right on sale. In fact, you can't avoid them. When I was walking by, I noticed all of these He-Man toys there. That caught my eye. I mean, I just saw this going on sale a couple of months ago. Battle Cat versus Roton. We're talking about Mega Construct sets. And look at the amount of markdown that we're talking about. In a relatively short time, you go from $29.84 to $13.57. That's not a markdown. That's a get this out of my store, get it out of my store quickly. You can find other pieces like that too. Here, Masters of the Universe, He-Man versus Beastman, Mega Constructs. And when you look at the prices on those, well, again, you have the same thing. You have a $9.84 toy marked down to $4.73. Again, they're trying to get them to move because they aren't. Then I read across this. I thought this was a mistake at first because this is a brand new toy. In fact, until the mess with Kevin Smith, I had never actually seen one. I'd never seen a Skelegod toy or anything like that. Now I keep seeing them everywhere. And well, it wasn't a mistake. Apparently it fits right there with all the He-Mans. Apparently they had more to put out too. Yeah, I think that says something. And what it says is this: it is a flop. Now, toys going on clearance, that's indicative of a sales problem. But if you really want to see how something is going over, well, go no further than Rotten Tomatoes. Remembering, of course, that they scrubbed quite a few negative reviews trying to pump this score up. And even after they did that, after they went out and fixed those scores, you end up with a 39% average audience score. So I want to look at 3 reviews to show you what people actually think, and then I'm going to tell you something absolutely mind-blowing to me that says that at 39%, it is an utter sham. So the first person here, and I agree with this, it's 2 parts of it basically, but I agree with both parts, 310%. So why in the bleep do the posters, do the thumbnails, etc. show He-Man at all? He's basically not in the series. Complete and utter false advertising that results in the viewers watching a Teela series. She's not likable, at least not this version of her. Yes, I agree. Why? Just why? Why do this to He-Man? And the last one, I thought this was funny. Couldn't get past the first episode. Not a huge He-Man fan, but this is just boring AF. I'm going to go watch the Dolph Lundgren movie adaptation of this to make me feel better about this franchise. That's saying something. And now for the mind-blowing part. So yesterday I'm trying to ascertain whether I want to use this site or not as a source. And what I find is a page and a half of negative reviews from that day. Okay, so I come back to the site today. You'll notice 2 days ago, I want to show you where we start. So you'll notice 1 day ago starts here. If I flip over to newer stuff, we're up to 5 hours ago. So these are relatively new. If you go in, not only do you find no page and a half of negative reviews, you don't find a page and a half of reviews from yesterday. They are scrubbing dozens and dozens of reviews from this, trying to obfuscate what people think. You don't do that for healthy shows. Healthy shows can stand on their own. This, like I said, it says that this show, it is flopped and hard. And then you have this. This comes to you in 2 parts, by the way. Both parts, they are delectable. The first thing is that Netflix, despite anything that they have to say about loving this, anything that they have to say about backing Kevin Smith, they see He-Man, a show that they paid for, a show that they think is going to do exceptionally well, fall out of the top 10, poof, just like that. I'm sure by now you are keenly aware of the type of damage control we've seen too. Even if you didn't know anything about it, if you haven't seen any of that, I'm sure that you could predict, toxic fandom. It's certain people from that side of the internet. But interestingly enough, you have people like Grace Randolph, somebody you would think would actually be on the Netflix side of things because they are so many times. They're saying that this thing, it's not good. It's not good at all. And what we're seeing from Netflix, that's not good either. So listen to this here. And I think that it makes so much sense. So on Netflix this week, fans sent a clear message to Kevin Smith and company, who tried to spin the negative reaction last week as if it was a couple of upset fans who were review bombing. But it's hard to argue with Masters of the Universe Revelation disappearing out of the overall top 10, the top 10 TV shows after just 1 week, while so many other shows have stayed in the top 10 for weeks on end. So forget just 2 weeks. So I think that makes it a more serious situation. We'll see what happens with part 2. I think it's already done, right? I don't think they can reanimate it. Now, when a Grace Randolph, of all people, calls out your woke trash product, it should say something to companies behind it. What it should be saying there is that you failed. You failed utterly. You not only failed the customers that you were supposed to give this to, but when you were designing something that was going to be for that different audience, you failed at that as well. This thing, it's a flop. You can see everybody calling it out. No amount of it's getting review bombed, it's just hate and negativity, you need to grow the F up, will ever fix that. I love it too. I love the fact that people like Kevin Smith, they thought they could just stick up a certain finger, tell you got to buy something or else. That doesn't work that way, does it? But anyway, let me know what you think about this. As always, too, appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff work, so thank you. Want to help out the channel? Links in the description. You know how to look that stuff up, and I thank you for doing so. You being here, though, that matters, so thank you. Appreciate you. End it here. See ya.